we'll do the live thing first. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. It's me, your host, Bigmark. If it's your first time watching, welcome. If not, welcome back. Like I always say, if you ever wanted to reach out to the podcast for any reason, let us know about a topic you wanted to hear or anything like that, please do hit us up in our DMs at the Bigmark Pod or at the Bigmark Podcast. Love to hear from you. I thank you for your support, for being here and watching and listening and engaging with us, hitting us up in the comments or anything like that, because that's the best way you can possibly support us. Tell a friend. If you tell one friend, we can double the podcast overnight. But again, tell your friends, let them know. And if you wanted to go that extra mile, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. And there's a few different ways you can support us there. But again, thank you all so much for joining along here today. I'm excited about today's episode. We're going to be talking about March Madness, which if you're watching, you're probably interested in it. And if not, let me enlighten you. It is, in my humble opinion, or I shouldn't even say opinion because it's just the way I feel, it's my favorite sporting event, if you will, to watch. I mean, the Olympics are fucking fun. You know, championship games of pro leagues are tons of fun, and regular season games, seeing games in person are tons of fun. But nothing, you know, as far as the spectator's concerned, I think, as far as enjoying it, or how I feel as a spectator, I should say, I love watching March Madness. It's something about it. It's, you know, a lot of these guys last fucking games, right? So, you know, let me just break it down for everyone who has no idea what they're talking about and they're just here for the information, which I appreciate you. March Madness is the culminating tournament played by the Division I. Actually, I think there's a bunch of through all the divisions of NCAA schools, but it's the American University System's men's basketball championship. They also have a women's as well. Sometimes it's in the same city, sometimes it's another city, but they're kind of known as the Final Four tournament. But March Madness is what's known colloquially because that's what fucking happens during March. Everyone goes mad. So, it's, again, my favorite. I love watching it. You know, these guys are younger dudes. They're I wouldn't necessarily say at the prime, but the way they're training and everything, and the way everything goes now with sports training, a lot of these guys are absolutely amazing athletes. We're going to see most of them. I shouldn't say most of them. We're going to see about 1%. I think in the actual main sports, it's a little higher than 1%. But generally speaking, 1% or less of the NCAA entirely actually goes pro. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of sports in those that have really small pro leagues, but again, you can just kind of extrapolate. It's probably around 1% of those guys we're going to see. And yes, it'll seem like a big handful of the dudes, but if you think about the entire country of university teams, because it's only 68 teams, right, that is in the actual March Madness team. So yes, it's the best in the country, but there's obviously more than 68 fucking schools in the States, right? So again, think about all these dudes who never do it, but that means they're going to be playing like it's their fucking last game, because it might be, because it's one of the few tournaments that exist out there that is actually single elimination. So if you lose a game, it's fucking Dunsky. So again, it's in different places all over the states. Every year it moves around to where the Final Four is held. And the Final Four means out of those 68 teams, we slowly whittle it down to 4 remaining teams. This year they're all going to San Antonio and they're going to play it out. Again, it's exciting. It's fun. These guys are unbelievable athletes. You get to see, I mean, more and more nowadays you have what they're called a one and done players, where they just go to a school for a year and then they go pro next year. And that throughout time became really popular. And I think we're starting to get away from that, because what you're starting to see in the tournament is you're starting to see some of these teams that pop up. Yes, you have your main dudes, Dukes, Kentuckys, Indianas, Cal, you know, all these big LSUs, all these giant Florida State teams, Michigan State, you know, you can name the famous ones. But that's where you see a lot of these one and done guys go. Now, because of that, a lot of teams and a lot of players, because you want to play, right? And if you're going to go to a school that has a starting 5 of one and done guys, there's not going to really be chemistry. The chances of you cracking that 5 in that 1 year, right? Because it's going to be important in that 1 year that you actually play. You don't want to sit on the fucking bench that year and be like, oh, I'll get it next year. You want to actually go and play. So you're actually starting to see some of these guys go to maybe not necessarily the most popular schools, but you're still seeing other teams that maybe have guys that have been together since the first year. You have 4 or 5 guys, or 6 sometimes within 1 or 2 years, but like a few guys that come in the same class or 1 year apart, and they grow together as players, and they have an excellent coach, and the system works, and you see that year after year, and they're called Cinderella teams because they usually start lower seeded, because it's seeded 1 through 16, right? And there's 4 quadrants, if you will, to the bracket, so 16 in each. And then that whittles down eventually to the final 4, like I said. So a lot of times you see higher seeds, right? 1, 2, 3 seeds usually make it a little bit further. But every year everyone gets this bracket and they try to predict it, and not a single time has someone predicted it perfectly. Now, a lot of people have predicted the winners or the final 4, but every win and every loss along the entire tournament, there's like the original, like the first round goes down to 32, and then there's the Sweet 16, and then there's Elite 8, then there's the Final 4, and then the championship. So if you look at it, it's a 6-stage tournament, right? You can play up to 6 games. And again, you see a lot of these teams kind of make it through, but for you to predict that all the way through is fucking wild, right? So I think it's like in the billions. I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett offers someone like a bunch of money if they ever predict a perfect bracket, because he just knows it's never going to happen. But again, it's just something that's so near and dear to my heart. If you're wondering, I'm a Duke fan. I love the Duke Blue Devils. I actually have a little piece of memorabilia on screen. I'm surprised I'm not wearing a Duke t-shirt because I have many of those, but I've worn them before. I got Duke True Blue 2 Soda, back-to-back national champions, 1991 and 1992. And it's got Duke's record on there and shit. Really cool. Anyway, super fun. So, again, I'm a Duke fan, and I think it's because, or I know it's because I was born the day before they won in 1991. So I was born March 31st, 1991, in case anyone was wondering. And I was born a day before Duke won. My dad's was a Duke fan. I'm pretty sure he liked Indiana too at a certain time, but I think that coupled with birth of his son and Duke winning and 2 years in a row, and then he lived on Duke Street at one point. It's a fun story, but all that makes us both huge mega Duke fans. Shout out Scott Mallon. Shout out Zach Angus. Shout out all my other Duke fans out there, because it's hard being the fucking best, isn't it? Anyway, Duke is kind of up there with one of those teams that's always like, oh, you like Boston Bruins, or like, oh, you like the New England Patriots, oh, you like winners. So the fuck what? Yeah, okay. I like winners because they fucking win. No, but I've always been appreciative of Coach Mike Krzyzewski, who was the longtime running coach of Duke basketball. I mean, when did he actually retire? Coach K. He retired in 2022. He started in the 80s somewhere, but he retired in 2022. So he's no longer the head, but he had coached Olympic teams and just like a phenomenal coach, really, really well-respected, well-known coach, Pollock kid, shout out. And just a big fan of everything that they kind of do. So shout out Duke. Let's go this year. And again, like I said before, we're going to be talking about Well, breaking down at least the 2025 NCAA Division I's men's basketball tournament, which this year will begin March 18th. So it's the 86th edition, and it's going to begin March 18th, 2025. So if you're watching this right now, we're just wrapping up the regular seasons, in NCAA regular seasons and all the conference championships, and that's essentially setting the stage, because they kind of rank people based on their final like standings, their win-loss record. And the championship game is going to be April 7th at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. So generally speaking, out of the 355, so there's 355. I mean, we had asked this question before. There's 355 eligible Division I teams. 68 of them are going to participate in the tournament. A total of 31 automatic bids are awarded to each program that win a conference tournament. So as soon as you win your conference tournament, like I said, which is all wrapping up right now, you immediately get all these bids, which is going to help you, enter at your seats. So the remaining 37 bids are issued at large, with selections extended by the NCAA committee on Selection Sunday, which is March 16th, coming up soon. And the selection committee will also seed that entire team. So they'll use all those bids and they'll actually seed everybody. So 8 teams from the 4 lowest seeded automatically qualifiers. The 8 teams, the 4 lowest seeded teams automatically qualify for the 4 lowest seeded at large teams. So the 8 teams will eventually play in the first 4, and the winners of these games will advance to the main tournament bracket. So that's like kind of, again, just the last pieces of the puzzle, and they're usually all seated a little bit lower. Like I mentioned, this year it's going to be played all around the country. The first 4, which is March 18th and 19th, is going to be played at the University of Dayton Arena. So that's just determining those last. So the first and second round, which is March 20th and 22nd, mark your calendars, are going to be played at Amica Mutual Pavilion at Providence at Providence College in Providence, Rhode Island. Shout out Julia Barrick. I'm pretty sure she went to Providence. Anyway, no, she went to Rhode Island. Anyway, they're all close. Rupp Arena, Lexington, Kentucky. Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, and then Ball Arena in Denver. And then after that, March 21st and 23rd, Rocket Arena in Ohio. Visitor Forum in Milwaukee, Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. So at each of these units, these are all, university stadiums or arenas or what have you. And a lot of the teams or even the whole conference actually hosts these ones. So then the regional semifinals and regional finals, which are known as the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, are going to be in Newark, at Prudential Center, hosted by Seton Hall. Those guys from Seton Hall, they were 7 foot, some of them. And shout out Sopranos. And then West Regional, the West Regional final is going to be Chase Center in San Francisco. And then the South Regional and Midwest Regional that are going to be played March 28th and 30th. It's going to be State Farm Arena and Lucas Oil Stadium. So all leading up to the national semifinals and championship, which are going to be both played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, April 5th and 7th. So you still got lots of time to print out your brackets. You can get it on. I love the CBC, and CBC and TNT are usually the ones who kind of like do most of the US coverage. So, but CBS Sports has arguably one of the best March Madness themes. And I don't think I can play it. I think if I play it, I'm going to get blocked. So I don't want to cause any ruckus on YouTube or anything. But I think if I do it, one of the best, I think, intros, if you will. But they're going to be covering theme songs. That's what it is. They're going to be televising the Final Four national championship game as they have since 2016, and so that'll be sent all around the world. Greg Gumbel, our man, is going to be on. He's actually sat out last year, so he's going to be back this year, which is going to be super exciting. Dickie V, rest in peace. He used to be the man. All these different pundits and correspondents and stuff, right? And again, people are going to be watching around the world, listening all over. And again, it's super fun. It's super exciting. You still have time to get your brackets in. You know, maybe Duke might win another one, right? They've won five overall, which is tied with Indiana for 5th all time behind UCLA, Kentucky, North Carolina, and UConn. So those are the big teams, right? Like I said, they got lots of national championships in the bag, and you know, a lot of coaches have retired from those teams and stuff now, so you don't really see as much action kind of coming from everybody as much anymore. Like, you know, you're starting to see it get mixed up, which is exciting, and you know, hopefully there's more and more time to see these other teams kind of grow and blossom and see these different programs that maybe have been toiling in anonymity and see this place. Because again, it's just with the training and interest and just the way they treat sports in the States, generally speaking, you know, there's so many great athletes out there, and a lot of Canadians are starting to go down there too, right? So God bless, you know, hopefully everyone has a good tournament, no broken legs. I mean, I remember, fuck, who was that guy who snapped his leg? There was a dude, unfortunately, because I remember watching it live. He broke his leg, like he broke his femur, playing in a game, like, oh my God, like national television ever. Kevin Ware, he fucking snapped his goddamn leg in half. He actually, did he go to the, I think he actually ended up in the NBA a little bit. Where did he play? He was third. Was he on Baylor? Was he on Baylor? No, he played for Louisville, but they were playing Baylor at the time because I'm pretty sure my buddy Brady Heslip was on the team, one of my former teammates. Pretty sure Brady Heslip was on the team at the time, and would have probably witnessed that live, which was fuck, man. Like, I swear to God, you could see like the fucking bone marrow, like his femur snap, like he just like landed weird, like it was kind of a freak thing, right? Like obviously these guys are young and spry, they shouldn't be snapping femurs, but fingers crossed, no major injuries this tournament, and you know, good luck to all the teams out there, good luck to everyone watching, good luck in your brackets. Should be fun. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Go Blue Devils. Peace.